The front legs, I'm going to keep them pretty simple, just a straight line, I think, or slightly curved. I'm going to bow it slightly out this way as we come down. Same thing on the other side. Again, you notice I'm doing my imaginary strokes first to get the feeling where I want it to go. And I think on the inside I'm just going to make it short for now. I don't know that I have to draw it all the way up here and show detail. I just got to give the feeling that this is his legs. Now here, because these feet are further down, back here his back legs are actually perched on the top of the rock. I want these to be down forward so we can actually see the toes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sketch little circles for the first toe, and then I'm going to put the others back a ways so it looks like I'm looking down and I can see more of the feet. And then I'll just throw some lines in here now for the extension of his toes. So what we've got, and we've got pretty good here, and I hope you've been working along with me, is we have a light sketch of our frog shape. We started first of all of, imagining what the frog is like. It's got a fairly big body, it's kind of a stretched out head, big eyes, and so we kind of made some ovals to get that feeling going. And then we've added more detail, and we've tried to keep it very light. Now again, here's where our kneaded eraser comes in. To make a final drawing, a couple things we can do is we can come back, and if we blot our sketch with a kneaded eraser, we can really lighten up our drawing but still leave it there as a reference. So any place that looks a little too dark in our sketch, if I got a little heavy-handed, I can go back and blot it and lighten it up so that it will be just a subtle background and not be quite so strong and important in the final drawing. Now again, somebody that's drawn a long time and done a lot of work, they may not need to go through this step. But my point is that with a little practice, anybody can learn to draw. Just to kind of add in for a minute, I spent 33 years teaching art in high school and also teaching some in college. And one of the things that I learned, if you break it down into basics, so you're learning basic elements, basic principles, you're learning techniques of how to work with the paper, the pencil, the kneaded eraser, or wherever it is, you gain tools. And once you gain the tools, then you can really start to draw. And I feel I can honestly say, in the years that I was teaching high school, if you look at that whole time, I had something between, don't know the exact number, but somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 teenagers that I worked with over the years. And I can honestly say that every single one of them learned to draw. So you can learn too. Some had a little different style or technique than the other one. They didn't all learn to draw the same. In fact, we don't want them to. Part of art is to be individual and create your own style. So as you're working and learning, don't worry about if it looks like somebody else's work. That's really not important. Alright, so I've kind of lightened my drawing up, and I'm just going to a few more spots here. Alright, and I could even work more. What the cartoonists, like I've mentioned a couple times, Disney or some of the original animated films and whatnot, what they actually work in is a kind of pencil because it's called non-repro blue. It's a special blue color that you draw with to do your sketch. And since everything was put onto photographic film, what happened is photographic film couldn't see that color. So that what would happen is this sketch would be in that non-repro light blue. And then the final drawing would be either done in heavy pencil or pen or ink. And when it was photographed, it looks like somebody just went and made the drawing. When really what happened is they had a light blue non-repro sketch with a line drawing over the top, and the final result is a very clean, very nice looking drawing. But you know, it's like so many things that we learn, or things we work with. There's tricks to the trade. And so part of what I want to show you as we go through this series of lessons, I want to show you some of those tricks, some of those techniques, how to use them, how to become successful at drawing. Alright, so let's take our drawing now, and what we're going to do is darken our drawing in. And what you want to do is kind of look at your drawing, and the thing that I suggest is you darken the things that are in front and darken the lines that are behind afterwards to get the feeling of layer. So if you've got and again, your frog may look pretty different from mine, but that's okay. How many frogs in the world look the same? How many people look the same? So let's not worry about it. Alright, so I'm going to start here like this, and there's ways that you can draw lines in the beginning that will help. And rather than trying to draw this whole eye in one shot, I'm going to draw it in two separate parts. I'm going to draw one curve because it's much easier to do that shape, and then come around and meet it close. So let's start up here. I'm going to start up here, put the pencil down. Now here's the trick. You may be tempted to grab the pencil like this, and you may be tempted to start going very slow to be careful. But what happens when you're being slow and careful is the line gets real bumpy and jagged. Even if you're holding the pencil this way, if you're going really slow, you just can't make a nice line. The trick to making a nice line is do a practice and make the line quickly. It'll make a better line. And with a little practice, those lines get better and better. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to come clear down here. I'm looking at it. Okay, I'm ready. Quick. Same thing here. So I'm going to come down here now. I'm going to start here, come over. Hopefully I'm going to meet it. There we go. Alright, let's do the other side. Now again, if you can see where I overlapped a little bit. That's where our kneaded eraser comes in. What I'm going to do first of all is blot it, because when you get a heavy line, you want to blot it and get most of it up first, and then come back and use kind of a standard erasing motion to get rid of the last little bit that's left. Alright, so I'm going to put his eyelid in, this one here, this one here. Again, I'm going to go back to a standard position because I want this to be very small and detailed. There's our eyes. His mouth line is going to come first, so I'm going to come in here and get the feel for that line. Draw it quickly. Now, notice I didn't go in exactly the same space. It's okay. It's better to have a nice flowing line than it is to try to follow that exactly. Because when I go to draw the end of his cheek here, I can always reposition it a little bit to match this line, and it will look fine. Same thing over here. And it works fine. See, no problem. Even though I didn't exactly hit my original line. So that's the other thing that I want to show you as we're working and we're sketching here. Don't worry about perfection, because a lot of art is about making changes and adapting and changing. A lot of times it works out better. I don't know if you can see right now, but on this side, this cheek or bulge at the end of his mouth looks larger than this one. And that's fine. In fact, it makes his head look like it's tilted a little bit. Alright, I'm going to join these two together, and this line is going to go back behind. I'm not going to start right where this one ended. I'm going to hold my pencil a little different. Instead of starting here, I'm going to start back here, because you see I want this smile line to look like it comes in front, and I want this to be in back. So I do the same thing over here. There we go. Now you notice another thing I've done. I've started at the top of my drawing and I'm working down. The reason for that is, and I'm also kind of working in this direction because I'm right-handed, and I want to keep my hand away from previous drawing because it's really easy to run your hand over and smear your drawing. If you are left-handed, working in this way,